You know how sometimes you find advice that just, it feels timeless? Like it cuts through everything else and speaks to something really core?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, today we're diving into exactly that for you. It's a set of, well, incredibly practical insights, almost like hearing a wise father share his deepest thoughts with his son.
Right. And our source for this deep dive is the collection of teachings from Prophet Luqman, peace be upon him, found within the Qur'an.
Exactly.
And Luqman, he's known as this figure of, well, immense wisdom. The advice he gave his son, it's seen as a real treasure trove of guidance.
So what's our mission today then?
Well, we want to explore 10 key pieces of this advice. And the source suggests these aren't just, parenting tips. They offer direction for anyone, really, navigating life, looking for a deeper understanding of how to live well, how to find ultimate fulfillment.
Okay.
So we're here to unpack the heart of this ancient wisdom, really dig into what it means for you, the listener, seeking practical guidance and maybe a richer perspective.
All right, let's get into it. Starting with what the source calls the ultimate wrong turn, the biggest mistake.
The foundation.
Oh, my son. Join not in worship others with Allah. Verily, joining others in worship with Allah is a great injustice indeed.
Yeah.
It's powerful that this is the very first thing. It really sets the tone, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And what's key here is that immediate focus on Tawhid, the oneness of God. It's presented as the bedrock, the foundation for everything else.
The starting point.
Exactly. The source really highlights that beginning here establishes the most fundamental truth. And did you notice that direct address, oh, my son?
Yeah, it's very personal.
It's like Luqman is leaning in, making sure his son gets the profound personal weight of this.
And thinking about it now, it's not just literal idols, is it?
No, definitely not. I mean, it could be putting ultimate value or dependence on, say, wealth or power, or maybe even just chasing other people's approval constantly.
Right. That could lead to a similar kind of imbalance in your life.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
An imbalance.
It's like losing your center, maybe.
Yeah.
And this great injustice,
Right.
the source explains, it's not just against God.
Correct. It's framed as an injustice to God, the creator, yes, but also profoundly an injustice to oneself because it risks divine displeasure and potentially negative consequences down the line.
It really reframes how we think about our priorities, our ultimate focus.
Exactly. So this first piece of advice, it's like setting your internal compass. It gives you that fundamental moral, that spiritual orientation for everything else that follows.
Okay, so foundation set. What comes next?
Then we move straight to another crucial area. The rights of parents. The source shares, and we have enjoined on man to be dutiful and good to his parents.
Right.
His mother bore him upon weakness and hardship, and his weaning is, in 2 years, give thanks to me and to your parents. Unto me is the final destination.
That detail about the mother's experience, weakness and hardship, it really stands out.
It does. The source paints such a vivid picture there, doesn't it? The sheer physical, the emotional toll of pregnancy, those first couple of years of intense dependence.
Makes you think about the huge sacrifices parents make, often without even thinking about it.
And what's interesting, too, is that linkage of gratitude. Did you catch that?
You mean give thanks first to God and then to your parents?
Yes, exactly that order. The source points out that ultimate return is always to God, framing it all in that larger spiritual context. But then the advice takes a really interesting, perhaps challenging turn.
Okay.
It addresses that tricky situation where parents might have different beliefs. It says, and if they both strive with you to make you join in worship with me, others that of which you have no knowledge, then obey them not.
Ah, right. Don't compromise your core belief.
But behave with them in the world kindly.
That's such a nuanced instruction.
It really is.
So it's about holding firm on your core principles, but still maintaining kindness, respect toward your parents, even with a fundamental disagreement.
Yeah, it highlights respecting that family bond while staying true to your convictions.
It does make you wonder, though, how does that kindly behavior actually play out in really tough situations where the differences cause real tension?
That's a great question. The source seems to emphasize, maintaining the relationship, showing respect in day-to-day interactions, practical things, even if you just can't agree on that fundamental belief.
Okay, so from parents, where does Luqman go next?
He shifts focus then to describing the sheer immensity of God's power and knowledge.
Ah.
Oh, my son, if it be equal to the weight of a grain of mustard seed, and though it be as a rock or in the heavens or the earth, Allah will bring it forth.
The mustard seed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verily, Allah is subtle in bringing out that grain, well aware of its place. That tiny little seed analogy, it's so incredibly evocative, isn't it?
It really is. It's amazing to think about that level of detail, that awareness. Does the source say more about why that specific image, the mustard seed?
Well, it perfectly captures the idea that nothing, absolutely nothing, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is hidden from God.
Right. No matter where it is, rock, heavens, earth.
Exactly. And the source connects this directly to God's all-encompassing knowledge and absolute control. It's not just knowing about it, it's the power to bring anything to light.
So the implication is?
The implication, as the source points out, is that knowing this immense power, this awareness, should inspire a kind of accountability in us, humility in our actions.
Makes sense. Understanding that power would naturally lead you to want to connect with it, right?
Precisely. Which brings us neatly to the next piece of advice. Establishing that direct connection through prayer. Oh, my son, offer prayer perfectly.
Very direct, very practical.
The source describes prayer as that essential direct link between a person and God.
And there's an implied role for parents there too, isn't there?
Yeah. Absolutely. The source definitely points that out, the crucial role parents have in teaching this, encouraging this practice in their children right from the start, nurturing that spiritual connection.
Okay, so connect with God through prayer. Then what?
Then, Luqman's advice broadens out, from the personal to the community. Enjoin people for good and forbid from evil.
Ah, so taking responsibility for society too.
Yes, it's about actively contributing to a better society. Promoting the good, discouraging the harmful, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It makes sense. If individuals actively do that, the source suggests it naturally creates a more positive, ethical environment for everyone.
It highlights that we all have a part to play, a role in the well-being of our communities.
And engaging with a community like that, trying to enjoin good and forbid evil, that's not always going to be easy.
No, definitely not. Which leads directly into the next vital piece of advice, cultivating patience.
Right.
And bear with patience whatever befalls you. Verily, these are some of the important commandments ordered by Allah with no exemption.
Patience when things get tough. We can all relate to needing that.
Yes, and the source emphasizes patience not just as passively putting up with things, but as a positive righteous act. Something that carries a divine reward.
So strength.
A fundamental strength, yes. Essential for navigating life's inevitable challenges and also for actually implementing all the other advice consistently. It's about building that inner resilience.
Okay. Inner resilience through patience. What about outward behavior?
Luqman addresses that very directly next, warning against arrogance, pride. And turn not your face away from men with pride, and also, nor walk in insolence through the earth. Verily, Allah likes not each arrogant boaster.
Wow, the imagery there is quite strong.
Yeah.
Turning your face away, walking with insolence.
It is. And the reasoning the source gives is striking. Arrogance is seen as an attribute that really only fits the Creator.
Not for humans.
For humans, it's seen as a transgression, basically overestimating ourselves. The source even mentions potential serious consequences for the arrogant.
That's a sobering thought. And it connects nicely to the next point about moderation, doesn't it?
It does, perfectly.
Yeah.
And be moderate, or show no insolence, in walking, and then, and lower your voice.
The voice, too.
Yes. Verily, the harshest of all voices is the voice braying of an ass.
That comparison is so vivid. What do you think makes that donkey analogy so effective for telling someone to lower their voice?
Well, it immediately brings to mind something harsh, unpleasant, grating, right? It's a sound that repels people rather than attracts them.
True.
So the source uses it to underscore the importance of humility and gentleness, not just in how we carry ourselves physically, like walking moderately, but also in how we communicate. Lowering the voice signifies less harshness, more approachability.
Humility in action and communication.
Okay.
That covers quite a range of conduct.
It really does, from the most fundamental belief to social interaction and personal character.
And the source kind of wraps up this section by reflecting on the wisdom here, particularly for fathers, right?
Yes, it emphasizes the value of this advice for both current and future fathers in building those strong, positive relationships with their sons.
It brings us right back to that initial idea, that timeless parental guidance.
Exactly. Reinforces how relevant these principles still are for, building healthy families, passing on wisdom through generations.
So just to recap quickly, in this deep dive, we've gone through these 10 really profound pieces of advice from Luqman to his son, all drawn from the Qur'an.
And the key themes that really stand out are, first, that foundational importance of belief in the oneness of God.
Right, Todd.
Then the deep respect and responsibility towards parents. Understanding God's vast power and knowledge as a kind of framework for our lives.
And then the ethical conduct pieces.
Exactly. That strong ethical compass guiding us personally and socially, things like prayer, promoting good, discouraging harm, definitely patience, humility, and moderation.
You can really see how they all link together, can't you? Painting a picture of a well-lived life.
Absolutely. They're interconnected.
So, thinking about all this ancient wisdom, here's something for you, the listener, to consider. Which one piece of this advice resonates most strongly with you right now in your life?
That's a good question to ponder.
And maybe think about how you might actively integrate that one piece moving forward. It really prompts you to think about the practical application of these, seemingly simple but actually deeply significant principles in our world today.